Well, good morning and welcome back to the channel. It's early morning, just 6:30, and I got up this morning and noticed that there's a lovely low sun and some nice cloudy but not completely overcast skies, and I thought, well, why not go straight up to the top of the hill about a mile from the back of the house and see what the bluebells are looking like. I did actually come up here a couple of days ago, and I did actually make a vlog which probably won't get published, which was completely about actually using the little DJI OSMO Pocket 2, which is here, which is a 12 megapixel camera and a 4K video camera, and it's very capable of doing the video, and I use this a lot for this sort of thing. However, I thought, well, just travel light, just take that and see what we could get. Now, it also has a mode where it can do stitch together of 4 images to produce a 50 megapixel or at least 48 megapixel image, and I thought, well, let's see how good those images come out compared to a true 50 megapixel camera. So I brought the main camera with me. It's my Sony A1, which is a 50 megapixel camera, and it's really quite nice up here. As you can see, if the sun's not glinting too much, it's actually a really pleasant morning, and I keep looking down at the iPhone, which is there, rather than the camera, because I need to keep checking that it's not losing, as it just did, my face. It's got a bad habit of doing that when the sun's in the frame, so let me just reset that, which is here, like so. Yes, as I said, it's got a habit of losing my face, so I've just put that right. But as you can see, certainly behind me, the low sun, which is now behind you, hence the shadow of the camera, is doing a really good job of lighting up the trees low. And about 100 yards from where I am, there's a little patch of bluebells, or quite a large patch of bluebells, which are on the side of the hill, which is behind you guys now. So I'm going to wander over there. I've got the tripod with me, so I'm going to do all this properly. I say properly, but I'm going to do it in a more controlled way today, because the images I got the other day when I used the Osmo, I wasn't overly impressed with them, partly because I didn't really concentrate on setting the shots up. I just took a few relatively random shots and I didn't compose them very well. But I'm going to do a bit better, or at least try to do a bit better today, and in so doing, what I want to do is get one shot with the A1 as a true 50 megapixel camera, and one shot with a little Osmo 2 here, and with its stitching mode at 48 megapixels, and I'll put the pictures up when I've done them, and you can have a look and see if a simulated 50 megapixels comes anywhere close to being as good as a true 50 megapixels. I think I already know the answer, quite honestly, but we'll give it a go, and at least you'll get to see the opportunity to see the comparison between them. So nearly to where I need to be, and it's looking really nice. The sun isn't quite making it down to the ground level where I am now, because the hill, which is over my right shoulder, is going downhill, and the sun is over there, over my left shoulder, and consequently it's a bit more drab looking here. But it's going to be flat lighting, so it should still give us a good opportunity to get some nice images. So I'll get on with that, and I'll not use the term "I'll spin you round" until I actually do spin you around. So I'll spin you around now and let you have a look at the countryside. There's the little track, and as you can see, there are bluebells, and lots of bluebells, and the further I go down this track and the more into the shelter of the wood we get, the more we should find that we've got more and more bluebells, which we have. So let's get on with the photography. Okay, this nice little woodland scene here of the track disappearing off into the distance up the hill here, and the bluebells on either side and the trees arching over makes quite a pleasant little shot. As the Osmo Pocket has only got a single lens on it, and it's a fixed lens, even though I can zoom electronically, I don't particularly want to do that, so I'm fixed with this rather wide angle, approximately about, I think it's about 22-23 degrees. I'm going to take that as the 50 megapixel shot that I do with the Osmo. Ozzy, come here. So when Ozzy's moved out of the way, I will set focus point down here. It's just clipping in the sky areas, which I can live with, so I'm going to stop the video and take that shot. So I've just taken that shot, and to make it as fair as possible, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to identify the corners of the frame, which is this bush here just on the right hand side, this tree coming up here, I just have the edge of that there, and then the left hand side of the frame will be this tree on the left, and the center point on the frame slightly above the center is this disappearing point in the track. And I'll try to emulate that shot with the lens on the other camera, which I'll get out and set up. So bear with me while I actually get the camera out. I think the 17-28 Tamron lens should do this. So let's get that on the camera. And I always hold the camera with the sensor pointing down when I've got a lens off. I see so many people take the front off, and I know this has actually got a shutter that I can automatically close. I haven't set that up yet, but I know a lot of people will just hold a camera up like that with the flipping lens off, which is rather silly because you're asking for trouble in terms of the additional dust that's going to get on the camera or potentially on the sensor. So I minimise that by actually holding the camera down. So I'm just going to basically set the frame a little bit on this video so you can see me a bit better. What I'm going to do is just eyeball this manually to see if I can get the same framing for the shot that I just took, and it's not following my face, which it should do. So if I just draw a line there, it now should follow me as I'm doing all of this sort of palaver. So obviously you're on the camera, on the tripod there, as we can see if I video from the A1. That's you guys there. There's the track running off into the distance, and because we've got a pretty good shutter speed, I'm not going to hold the I'm not going to put the camera on the tripod. I'm just going to take the shot, but I'm going to frame it up much as I did with the other one. So let's first see what sort of framing I need, and I'll have to, yes, I'm at about 24mm on this lens, and that's giving me pretty much the same sort of framing. What I'll do is, if Ozzy gets out of the frame, I'll take that shot now handheld, and what I'm getting is, I've got it on ISO auto because I've noticed the ISO range of this camera is pretty damn good, and I'm going to have, a aperture of about f11. It's giving me 1 second exposure, so I better put it back onto, I actually took it off ISO auto, so let's just put it back onto auto, and it's giving me an ISO of 500 at a 30th of a second, which is perfectly doable handheld. So let's get the shot and then let's see what they look like together. Okay, that should be the shot. I'll just have a quick look and compare it, and that looks pretty close to the same framing that I actually had with the Osmo. I'll just do my favourite little bit of chimping on that one just to see really if it's focused well enough, and that is definitely focused well enough. I can't sing the praises of these Tamron lenses enough. I'm really very pleased with them. Yeah, that's all looking from front. Back's a little bit soft, but it doesn't matter because it's in the distance and it's behind, or it's against the sky, so I'm not too concerned about that. So that is that done. So I'll take a couple more shots while I'm here. It's a shame not to take advantage of these lovely conditions, and I'll put the pictures up in a minute and you can have a look and draw your own conclusions. Okay, so we've come across to Lightroom, and what I've done is I've loaded both images up. In the left hand pane here we've got the image from the Sony A1, And on the right hand side here we've got the image from the DJI Pocket. I was slightly wrong earlier when I said the focal length is 4.4 millimeters, which equates to about 17 or 18 millimeters in real life. I think I said 22, but you can see that I've cropped both images to pretty much exactly the same area. Because there was quite a lot of misinformation, or at least junk around the edges that didn't make for good framing. So I've got to now have a look at these images. On the left we've got the Sony image, which is a proper 50 megapixel image, and if we zoom in on that and wait for it to clear and apply all the resolution, we can see we've got a pretty tack sharp image here. This incidentally was taken with the 17 to 28 Tamron lens. And on the right hand side, if I zoom in, the simulated 50 megapixels on the same area of the screen, there's a slight difference in the magnification because of the cropping was slightly different between one and the other, but that's negligible. What's important to see here that the simulated image is really just not anywhere near as detailed in any respects. There's a lot of noise in the image, and there's no way you can look on the image that suddenly makes it better. It's pretty bad. So I think my conclusions, which I hinted at the start of this video, are very much that the DJI Osmo simulating 50 or 48 megapixels is by no means anything close to what a real camera does. Now, how much of this is digital noise on the right hand side, how much of it's stitching, how much of it's actually caused by the quality of the lens, I don't know. But certainly the lens generally on the little Osmo performs well. So I think I've made the case that there is a reason that people buy expensive lenses and cameras if they want to get high resolution. So there we are. That's it, summed up in a nutshell.